Good morning, student. Myself Manoj Chotia from Raghunath Vidyalaya, Ratangad. Welcome to you in our new class. Today's our topic is third chapter of our book, Plant Kingdom. In the previous chapter, we looked at the broad classification of living organism. We divided all the living organism in 5 categories: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. We study all them thoroughly, but we detail study in this chapter, Kingdom Plantae or Plant Kingdom. As you know, plant are the structure in which chlorophyll is present. Here plant is classified into 5 categories: algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm and angiosperm. First of all, we study 3 types of classification. First is artificial classification. As you know, classification. What is classification? Classification is the division of living organism on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities, or we can say groupism of living organism on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities is called classification. Artificial classification. What is artificial? Whenever we divide all the living organism on the basis of their external feature, then it is called artificial classification. As you know, who is the father of botany? Botany is the study of plants. So then father of botany is Theophrastus, and Theophrastus first of all classify all the plants in 4 categories: herbs, shrubs, undershrubs and trees. This character or this division is on the basis of external feature. It is called artificial classification. But after that, next system of classification is come, that is called natural classification. Natural classification is proposed by Bentham, Hooker and Hutchinson was the scientist, and this classification is based upon the internal character of any living organism. Here we are discussing about plant, so plant classification is based on internal characteristics, just like internal structure of plants and development of embryo on the basis of their number of chromosomes is called natural classification. But at present we are studying about evolutionary classification. What is evolutionary classification? Whenever we study about living organism on the basis of their origin and what is their recent position. मीन्स क्या है कि किसी भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म की जब ओरिजिन हुई थी और आज वो रिसेंट वर्तमान टाइम में वो किस प्रकार का, उसमें क्या क्या चेंजेस आए, उन चेंजेस के आधार पर जो क्लासिफिकेशन किया जाता है उस क्लासिफिकेशन को अपन क्या कहते हैं? इवोल्यूशनरी क्लासिफिकेशन. तो वर्तमान में इवोल्यूशनरी या फाइलोजेनेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन, फाइलोजेनेटिक classification or evolutionary classification is based upon so many characters or changes, we can say changes, or with the relationship of their origin organism. This assume that organism belonging to the same taxa have a common ancestor. We now use information from other sources to help resolve difficulties in classification. These become more important where there is no supporting fossil evidence. Now another classification is also numerical classification. Numerical means numbers. Whenever we classify all the living organism on the basis of their cell any structure numerically, just like number of chromosomes, then it is called numerical taxonomy. And nowadays we are also consider another term cytotaxonomy, means the structure of cell, shape of structure and cell organelles included in the character of classification, then it is called cytotaxonomy. And another word is chemotaxonomy. Whenever we found particular chemicals in a cell, then it is called chemotaxonomy. So cytotaxonomy, chemotaxonomy and numerical taxonomy are included in the phylogenetical classification. Now our topic is algae. First of all we study algae, then after bryophyta, then pteridophyta, gymnosperm and angiosperm. First of all algae. See the first see the characters of algae. Look at algae, fungi and lichen. Normally whenever we saw any plant, we see three main structure in the plant: root, stem and leaves. Whenever the root, stem and leaves are not found in any plant, then the plant body is called thallus. Then the plant body is called thallus. So first character of algae, the plant body is thallus. As you see near a moist condition or a tap or a well, there is a kai. That kai is called algae. So algae has no any root and stem. So the first character of algae, the plant body is called thallus because it is not divided in root, stem and leaves. Second character, mostly algae are found in a marine condition and fresh water, or we can say they are found in the water. And you know, on the earth 70% is water. So the main source of plant in water is algae. And the main characters, we live from first thing that we need to live is oxygen, and oxygen is the byproduct of plants, and this oxygen is produced by activity photosynthesis, and total oxygen is produced by plants. Among them 50% is the byproduct of algae. Now next character, algae has a different types of pigment in it, so they are called chlorophyce, rhodophyce, pheophyce due to presence of pigments, and their shape and size is also varies, just like Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas has a unicellular structure, and then multicellular or a very large tree-like structure. Kelp algae is also present there. They have filamentous structure, net-like structure, so many colonial structure, just like Eulothrix, volvox. So they are found in so many structures. Next character, they have reproduced by asexual, sexual and vegetative reproduction. Asexual reproduction happens by zoospores and non-motile spores. Okay, zoospores means the spores which can move from one place to another place by the locomotory organ like cilia and flagella. And non-motile spores are not move anywhere. Next character is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction happens by isogamy. Next, anisogamy and oogamy. First, understand these three types of gametes. As you know, the main character of algae, their main stage is gametophyte, and gametophyte means their main condition is haploid. And in sexual reproduction, there is two condition or two phenomena or two activity. First, the gamete formation, and second is gamete fusion. Here, first gamete fusion comes whenever And we know that in sexual reproduction, the male and female living body are take place in the reproduction and make a new offspring, that is called sexual reproduction. Whenever both the gametes are produced and they are same externally and internally, then they are called isogamy. means ये दो गेमेट है और ये दोनों क्या है, एक दूसरे के एकदम सेम है, इंटरनली और एक्सटर्नली हम कोई भी डिफरेंशिएशन इनमें नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है. वी कैन गिव द नेम देम प्लस एंड माइनस, देन इट इज कॉल्ड आइसोगेमी. अनआइसोगेमी, whenever external structure of male and female gamete are same but internally they are differentiate from each other, then it is called anisogamy. Last, oogamy, whenever by external and internal both they are differentiate each other, we can identify particularly them, then they are called oogamy. Just like in angiospermic plant, the male gamete is pollen grain and the female gamete is embryo sac. We can differentiate them each other by their external structure and they are differentiate to internally also. So they are called oogamy. As you know, who is the elder or who is the younger one in nature. So please remember, elder is a female, so it is called megasporangium, and younger is a male, then it is called microsporangium. So whenever they are differentiated externally and internally, then they are called oogamy. And the next character of algae, they are also helpful in various conditions. As we know, from Phaeophyceae we can obtain keratin, which is responsible for many substances, and just like agar is obtained from Gracilaria algae and spirulum is also helpful or a proteinous substances. Algae spirulum is more helpful in production of protein. If we give a fodder to plants with spirulum, then the milk is rich in proteinous substances. Now algae can be divided on the basis of cell structure and major pigment, store food material, cell wall, number of flagella position and habitat in three types: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. That classification we will study in our next chapter, next video. Thank you for today.